Hey everybody, we are back with another video. Welcome in. Today we're going to talk about playing fast, something that everybody wants to be able to do, including myself, but I think most people are going about it the wrong way. Now this is a topic that comes up a lot with my students. How can I play fast? You know, so many of the musicians that we look up to and idolize can just rip through their instruments, playing double time lines, playing extremely fast tempos. It's part of the jazz language, so it's definitely something we should learn how to do. The problem is people get discouraged really quickly when they are working on this particular concept, and I want to clear up a little of the process that goes into this and how much time it actually takes to learn how to pull off those fast lines or those fast passages. So the first thing that this requires is a lot of patience. And actually, it requires a lot of patience to be a jazz musician in general. And if you're like me, a very impatient person, you've had to really work on this idea of things moving more slowly and methodically and not being able to do what you want to do right away. So if you can muster up a little bit of patience in your life, there's definitely some things I can show you about learning to play fast and being successful with it. So my big thing that I've discovered through my own practicing and through teaching so many students over the years is most people are going about this in the complete opposite way that they should be. So all we need to do is turn that ratio around and you'll start to see some results and you'll be able to play a lot faster, which at the end of the day is what you want to do. So let's dive into what I mean by this. So here's what most people do when they set out to learn a fast passage or try to get some of that fast vocabulary under their fingers and into their playing. Everybody knows that you have to practice slowly at first. You're not going to be able to just play something really fast right off the bat. I think that's a concept that we're all pretty clear on. But the problem is how much time you are actually playing slowly as opposed to fast. And this is where I think the balance is totally out of whack for most people. So here's what most people do, represented by this graph. Most people will spend about 20% of their time playing slowly, practicing very slowly and methodically. And then what happens? They get extremely impatient and they start cranking up that metronome because they want to be able to play fast. And I can't blame you. I used to do this all the time, and I would wonder at the end of the day why I couldn't pull off these fast lines. Now you'll notice that it says struggle in the fast portion of the graph, because that's what happens. We spend a little bit of time practicing things slowly, and then we spend a lot of time struggling with those fast tempos. And this struggle is enough to convince you that you'll never be able to play fast. Well, there's just something wrong with me. I can't play at those tempos that my favorite musicians play at all the time. But that's not true. It's just that your balance of practicing fast and slow is way out of whack. And if you're one of these people that does this, you know it. You should know it right now. Be honest with yourself. A lot of becoming a great musician is learning to be honest with yourself, recognizing your weaknesses, recognizing where you're going wrong in the practice room, and working to fix that. So what we really need to do is we need to flip this equation to the exact opposite. You need to be spending about 80% of your time practicing slowly on that slower side of the metronome. And then what happens is your time spent practicing fast, first of all, gets to be a lot less of your overall time because you traded that fast practice time for the slow, and now it's a lot easier to get it up to that ultimate tempo where you want to be at the end of the day. And the big thing here is notice a word disappeared from the graph. That word is struggle. The struggle disappears because when you're playing at those slow tempos, you're not struggling. What you're doing is you're really learning muscle memory. You're really learning what it feels like to play that line. You're learning the sound of that line. You're making it a part of you. So that when you do get to those fast tempos, it feels easy. It's simple. All we do is play this line that we know like the back of our hand at a faster tempo. Now here's the thing. It's really frustrating to practice slow for that long. And I'm a firm believer that the best musicians are people who can take the most punishment, who can take most repetition, who can sit in a room and play the same thing over and over and over again at these excruciatingly slow tempos. At the end of the day, that's what makes them great. Because they're never nervous whether they're going to get a line right. They know it so well that it just flows out of them without them even having to think about it. Now, I explain this to a lot of my students every single week, week in and week out. And I find that the biggest difference between the people who actually show improvement on that fast playing and the people that don't is whether you're willing to actually do this, to actually take this advice that I'm giving you and implement it into your practice routine, ratchet up that patience, spend way longer than you're comfortable with at those slow tempos. And after talking to a lot of people who are some of the most technically proficient musicians I know, they're doing something similar to this. It seems kind of counterintuitive, right? If you want to play super fast, you have to play really, really slow for the majority of your practice time. But I promise you, it works. And when I realized this, my technique and my ability to play at fast tempos took a massive jump. And believe me, when you start to see those results, that's when it really starts to hit home that this is what you should be doing. And that is a beautiful time when you start to see those results and all of your hard work, all of your repetition, it starts to pay off and you actually start to get that better technique. So I hope this has helped some of you out there that are looking for that kind of holy grail of playing fast, being able to play those blazing double time lines, being able to play rhythm changes at 200, 250, 300, all those things that we see our favorite musicians doing. I hope this can maybe clarify some possible cracks in your thinking about how to actually accomplish this goal. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Is this the way that you practice? Is this something that you've been searching for a long time? How do you go about it? Definitely open to other ideas. I just know that this is something that has worked for myself and for my students. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Turn on notifications so that you do not miss a video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. We'll talk to you soon on another video. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.